one of the really interesting aspects of Grameen's operations is the way you have been able to extend the concept of microfinance beyond just credit into areas such as health insurance. I wonder if you could explain some of those activities and how they have evolved, what some of your challenges have been.
We do not consider micro insurance or health insurance as outside the financial service. So we take it as a part of our activity, as a bank's activity. We started with giving credit at the same time taking savings. So it's always together. Savings and credit formed our basic tool. And then we encouraged them to go into other directions about the health and other issues. And gradually we introduced insurance programs. Life insurance was our first insurance program that we did, and the loan insurance that we did. And then we introduced the health insurance program. And we saw that we can give the health insurance facility, but how do you ensure they get the health service? Because the existing health service is not a very reliable health service. So we started creating health services through a separate company we created called Grameen Kullan, or Grameen Wellbeing. Through that, we started setting up clinics in the villages with a professional doctor on the top of the clinic, and then paramedics and the health workers with a pathological lab attached to it, so that you don't have to go to the city for simple pathological testings and so on. So everything is self-contained. And today we run about 51 such clinics. And on an average, they make about 93% of the cost they cover. Another 7% we can cover easily if we could retain the doctors in this clinics. So that became a big problem. Doctors don't want to stay in the village the way, the kind of clinics that we operate in the villages. So most of the time, almost half or 1/3 of the doctors are missing. So that's why our popularity in the area is not as high as it should have been. So now we are trying to redesign it, do it in a different way, trying to set up a program at the village level, what we call Grameen Health Management Centers, where our focus would be on prevention. Our focus would be on the healthy people first, and then to the sick people. And the sick people, we say, this is where we do the early detection and early treatment, without relying on the doctors in the village. So doctor will be in the city wherever they are. We are trying to link the doctor and the patients through information technology. Mobile phone in Bangladesh is everywhere. Like many other countries, now mobile phone is a common phenomenon. Even in the poor families, you'll see mobile phones, very cheap. So what we're doing, and these phones are internet-enabled phones. It also carries the internet service. So for internet service, you don't have to worry. Every single piece of space within Bangladesh can receive internet services through the mobile phone. So we want to do the diagnostics and plug it into a mobile phone, transmit all the images and all the data to the specialist doctor in the city, who can analyze it and tell you what the problem is, and talk to the patient on the mobile phone, and some intermediary young girl who can go between the patient and the doctors to carry on all these services. So this is the new idea that we are promoting. And the health insurance is a very popular one, I must say, provided we can guarantee that they get the services we promised.
And is there a plan to extend this further with Google?
We have been discussing with many partners. Already we have created a social business with Intel Corporation. It's called Grameen Intel Company in Bangladesh. And through that company, we are bringing mobile phone services in the villages with the healthcare software included into it. There are initial one that we are doing with that is a series of questions that we place before the pregnant mothers. And the questions are designed in such a way, by evaluating the answers, the doctors can tell you whether she has a risky pregnancy. Say, immediately you have a first choice that we have screened off one risky pregnancy. Then you can concentrate on that one. And gradually we'll be moving into ultrasound, bring the ultrasound in the family, in the house, to do the image of the baby inside the womb and transmit it to the doctor. And the doctor can reconfirm it that yes, she has a problem. And we can zoom into that particular patient and so on. So we'll be discussing with other companies like Google. I'll be in this trip, I'll be meeting the Google people to talk about it. One of the ideas that I'll be discussing with them is to how to capture all the patient data simultaneously as we meet the people, talk to people. All this comes in a way that you can put in a central server through Google, and you have a global patient data available. And you can analyze them, you can find out the incidence of each disease, how the treatment is working, which treatment is working, how they are improving, and so on. Lots of information can come out of that. There are many ways you can do that, very simple. Now that technology is available, it can be almost costless, but at the same time extremely valuable information about the healthcare. So we want to excite Google and others to get involved. Google already has a lot of healthcare related programs, but we are trying to see how to extend the service into the area that we face and collaborate with them.
By basing your model on getting funds from the borrowers, rather than getting, say, investment money from international investors, does that give you enough money to make as many loans, offer as many services as you could, or do you think that outside money actually could play a role, as long as it doesn't dilute the primary focus, which is social good and not making money?
Within Grameen Bank, we are allowed to take deposits from everybody. It's not limited to the borrowers only. It's just like a bank. We can take anybody's deposits. So that's open within Grameen Bank. Each of our branches is required to make enough deposit, mobilize enough deposit to carry out all the lending they do, so that branches don't have to borrow from the head office, don't have to borrow from another branch. So they are self-sufficient with their money. On top of it, we encourage them to build up enough cushion of reserves of the deposits. Because of the problem of disasters, we have very frequent disasters. At time of disasters, you can't get your money back, but you need to lend money, more money than you did before, to get people out of the problem they have faced. So we want to build up that cushion. Usually we recommend at least 30%, 33% reserve should be kept within that system. Today we have more than 30% reserve, 37% reserve in our in the whole of Grameen Bank. Some branches have more, some branches have less, but the average of 37%. We have no problem with the deposits. We have enough deposits in that. So the question of borrowing from outside never occurred to us because we have enough money. And I keep telling people that literally, no matter where we live in an ocean of money. But the problem is the poor people cannot take a sip out of it. That's the problem. Shortage of money is not there. So people have plenty of money, they put it in the bank. People will be very happy the branch came near their home, because villages don't have branches of banks. Banks are all concentrated in the cities. So if they have to put the money in the bank, they have to go to the city and the town where the banks exist, bank branches exist. So Grameen Bank works in the villages, so it's a very convenient place. People withdraw their money from the cities, put it there near home because it's handy. They can go anywhere, anytime they want, can pick up the money. So we have enough of that money, and we do not see any reason that it will ever dry out. Having said that, what is the amount of deposit coming from the borrower themselves? We lend out over $100 million a month through Grameen Bank today. Out of that money, nearly half of that money comes from the borrower's own deposits. So it's quite a substantial amount of money the borrowers put in. And that money keeps growing because everybody's putting additional deposits every week. So that keeps growing and growing. So they have their own savings account. At the same time, other people can put in money there. Sometimes we see that maybe in certain branches we have too much money, that whether we should keep that level of deposit without expanding the business. We encourage them to expand the business rather than build up too much deposits.